Welcome back to the deep dive. If you're someone who sells, distributes, or even just tracks the consumer electronics space, especially mobile accessories, you'll want to stick around. Today, we are strapping in for a deep dive into the 2025 market. We're looking at why, well, everything you probably thought you knew about margins in this space is about to change. Our mission today is really to give you a shortcut. We've gone through a huge stack of sources, industry reports, retailer data, some really detailed case studies, and we're unpacking what they all point to. And it seems to be this fundamental shift in what customers actually want. So we're going beyond the what to get to the why, and more importantly, the how for retailers, basically where the money's going.
And if I can just jump in and synthesize the main point, it's a massive departure from what we've seen before. For years, this whole category was just a race to the bottom on price.
The cheapest wins?
Exactly. And that era, it's fading. The customer is fundamentally shifting away from price being the number one thing they look for. The focus now is overwhelmingly on quality, on longevity, and maybe the most important piece, tangible comfort and ergonomics.
So it's not about a bargain anymore.
No. It means a successful sale today isn't about stocking the cheapest little plastic thing. It's about being able to clearly show a product's real lasting value to the person using it every single day.
That is such a fascinating shift, especially for a category that a lot of us, have always seen as disposable. And in the data, we're seeing two core trends that are really fueling this, and they're helping to build those margins back up. First is the rise of ergonomics, which is just inescapable now. And second is the dominance of the premium segment.
And premium not in the sense of luxury, but of function.
It's about functionality. I have to admit, when we first saw these projections, I did wonder if this was just a fleeting post-pandemic thing, But the data shows it's sticking. Okay, so let's unpack this. And I guess we should start with the biggest driver, which is where and how people are actually working.
Right. The first huge tectonic shift is the permanence of the hybrid office. This is not a footnote. It's not temporary. It's just structurally baked into how we work now. We saw one really comprehensive report. It was citing CIPD research. And for anyone who doesn't know, they're a huge authority on HR and workplace practices globally. And it found that a whopping 74% of organizations are now actively combining office work with remote options.
74%.
74. That statistic is just so critical because it proves hybrid work is here to stay. It's the new normal. So that home office setup, it's not a temporary thing you sort of threw together anymore.
Right. It's a permanent second office.
It's a permanent secondary workplace. And people are starting to invest in it properly for the long term.
And the implication for a retailer is massive because the home office isn't always a dedicated room, is it?
Not at all.
People are working at kitchen tables on these little narrow desks crammed into a living room corner. But no matter how small the space is, you still need proper organization to focus, to be comfortable, and to get your ergonomics right.
We've all done it. Propping a laptop up on a stack of books, ending the day with a stiff neck.
Oh, absolutely.
Modern accessories are really the only way to fix that, to create a proper workstation, even in a tiny space. But they have to actually work. They have to be reliable.
And that reliability, that ties directly into the health benefits, which is what gives this whole trend its staying power.
Exactly. Accessories that support correct posture, that put the screen in a comfortable position. Our sources describe them as timeless investments. They're solving real chronic health issues.
We're talking about things like tech neck,
reducing eye strain, and honestly, the mental health benefit of just having an organized, functional space. When a customer buys a really stable desk stand, they're not just buying a piece of metal.
They're buying less pain.
They're buying the reduction of chronic pain and fatigue. It's a foundational need, not a nice-to-have.
That completely reframes the sale, doesn't it? It's not a transaction. It's an investment in your own well-being.
And this brings us right to some of the specific examples in the materials, like the 4-cell F-grip stands line. This kind of product shows exactly how retailers can jump on this trend.
Right.
Because a high-quality stand is so much more than a place to put your phone. It directly meets the daily needs of hybrid workers. It helps organize their space, gets the screen up to eye level, and just makes hours of video calls more comfortable.
It connects that big macro trend of hybrid work straight to a specific product that supports your health. And that necessity is exactly why we're seeing this other corresponding trend, the move to premium.
Okay, so let's talk about premium, because that word can mean a lot of things. It can. But in analyzing the perceived value for 2025, the definition has really evolved. It's not just about aesthetics anymore, though, Looking good definitely helps.
Of course.
Premium is now defined by solid materials, by deep functionality that genuinely makes your day-to-day tasks easier without failing.
So it's about that feeling of quality, that
Mm.
solid click when you adjust it, or the fact that it doesn't wobble when you tap your screen.
Exactly that. Customers are treating these high-quality accessories as a critical, long-term part of their lifestyle now, not something disposable.
That makes sense.
They get that if they're interacting with something for 8 hours a day, it's worth paying more for one that works perfectly and, looks good in their space.
And this is where it gets really interesting for the retailer, because the source material spells out the direct benefits of focusing on this segment, a segment that traditionally has been a low-margin bloodbath.
Right.
We're talking about moving to much higher margins and just a more stable business model overall.
And it's so disruptive because better quality, more durable products, they translate directly into fewer customer complaints.
And fewer returns,
Well,
that's huge.
Drastically lower return rates, which leads to happier customers and more brand loyalty. You're selling a solution that actually stays sold. It's this positive feedback loop that cleans everything up and boosts the bottom line.
The for-sale F-grip case study in the materials really proves this profitability model, doesn't it?
It's a perfect example because it's the premium segment. You're talking materials, aluminum, solid engineering. It just naturally allows for higher retail prices and much better margins than the old plastic accessory market.
And it's not seasonal.
That's the other crucial part. Because the demand is tied to ergonomics and the permanent hybrid office, this category isn't affected by holiday rushes or those post-January slumps that plague other accessories. It's stable year-round revenue.
That stability is a game changer. But what about the audience? Is this just for, corporate office workers?
No, absolutely not. The durability and the simplicity appeal to a really broad audience. Think about a student who needs a reliable holder for studying or watching lectures.
Or a content creator?
A content creator who needs a rock-solid base for recording. The market is anyone who uses a mobile device for productive, long periods of time. It's a foundational product for the modern digital citizen.
So we've covered the what to sell.
Yeah.
High quality, ergonomic, premium gear. Now let's shift to the how. How do you actually sell it?
Yeah.
Because the sources are clear. For premium items, a hands-on experience is everything.
Yeah, the in-store presentation is all about removing skepticism and building trust and doing it quickly. With a cheap product, a customer might just take a gamble on the low price.
Sure.
With a premium product, they need to see the justification for the cost, and that means a demonstration stand, a live display where people can actually test it, feel the weight, adjust the hinge, check the stability. That is you can't overstate its value.
That physical touch point, that's the bridge to believing in the value.
Precisely. Open packaging, or at least a very accessible display, it shortens the whole decision-making process. The customer confirms the quality for themselves before they even get to the checkout.
The reports from the IFA Berlin Trade Fair really hammered this home. Retailers there said that when people had the chance to touch the product, to feel the difference between cheap stamped metal and solid aluminum, that interaction was what turned a hesitant maybe into a confident yes.
It lets the product sell itself through its own construction.
Which is why how you organize the store itself is so important. It can completely change the cart value.
Yes, and one of the most actionable insights from the sources was about this. The best practice isn't arranging products just by brand, which is how it's usually done.
Right. All the for sale here, all the XYZ brand there.
Instead, you arrange them by category, or really by solution.
Give me an example.
Think about having a whole section for a car travel kit. So you have the phone holder, the FM transmitter, the dash cam, the fast charger, all right there together. Or a desktop organization section with stands, cable managers, multi-device charging hubs.
So you're building the solution for them.
It encourages those intuitive complementary purchases. That's effective cross-selling. If a customer is looking for a desk stand, having the cable managers and the high-speed chargers right there makes the attachment sale almost effortless. The F-grip is a perfect complement to a premium case or a more powerful charger.
You're just increasing the cart value organically, not through some aggressive upsell.
Exactly. It's based on the customer's actual needs.
Which brings us to maybe the most critical piece, communication. Since price isn't the main motivator, retailers have to get good at speaking the language of value. If you stock premium inventory, you need premium communication to go with it.
It's absolutely critical. You have to move past just listing specs on a box and embrace what you could call product storytelling, showing the value, showing how it makes life easier day after day.
I think we can all relate to this. I once bought a super cheap phone holder for my desk. It said aluminum, but it was flimsy, it wobbled, the hinge kept slipping. My phone would just droop halfway through a call.
Oh,
I
yes.
threw it out and bought a solid, more expensive one. The money I saved initially just vanished because the cheap product just created frustration.
That frustration is the exact feeling you want to contrast your product against. And this is where that benefit-driven language creates the aha moment for the customer. You have to translate the feature into a solution.
So instead of just metal phone holder,
Right. Instead of metal phone holder with a hinge, you say, a stable, unshakable platform for hands-free video calls so you can eliminate screen shake. You connect it directly to their pain point.
I see. And instead of listing adjustable angle up to 120 degrees,
You tell them they're buying a customizable screen position that relieves neck and eye strain, helping you maintain correct posture all day. You're not selling hardware, you're selling comfort, you're selling health.
that approach really builds trust. It shows you actually understand their problems.
It does. And the sources also really emphasize using contrast to trigger emotions and justify the price. A simple visual comparison can be incredibly powerful.
So show them the bad one.
Literally, show the customer the difference. Have a cheap, wobbly holder on display that fails, and right next to it, have the solid aluminum one that holds a device securely.
That immediate tactile contrast makes the justification for the higher price tag seem obvious, necessary even.
And that messaging has to be absolutely consistent. The language, the visuals, the packaging, it all needs to be uniform online and offline. That's how you strengthen brand recognition and build an image as an expert that's worth trusting,
Which leads to loyalty.
which leads to loyalty and repeat business. And we also saw that the companies doing this well are providing great resources to their B2B partners. Things like comparative graphics, product leaflets, even free sales guides with ready-made arguments, all tailored to lines like the F-grip stands. They're arming sellers with the right words.
Okay, so when we put all these pieces together, what does it all mean?
I mean, it means the entire mobile accessories ecosystem is maturing, and it's maturing fast. The market is demanding a focus on quality, on health-focused ergonomics, and on clear communication of value.
The old model is broken.
The outdated model of just competing on price is failing. It's being replaced by sophisticated value propositions that address a real necessity, not just a luxury.
So a quick recap for you. Customer priorities have permanently shifted. They want quality, durability, and health-focused design. And that's driven by the permanent reality of hybrid work. And this shift means higher margins and more stability for retailers who can focus on communicating the value of a product through benefit-driven storytelling and an effective, hands-on in-store experience.
And here's the final thought for you to think about, to investigate further. This focus on health and quality driven by how we work now, it's creating a market segment where demand is year-round and relatively inelastic. This category is winning by selling necessity and physical comfort, not just convenience. So the question to ask yourself is, how many other product categories, things we've historically considered disposable or cheap extras, are primed for a similar disruptive shift toward premium quality and long-term durability, driven not by fashion, but by the fundamental necessity of well-being? That's the broader implication for retailers to consider across their entire inventory.